Hello everyone, Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching. I have another Monday quarterback video for you. I'm going to play this video and talk about things that are going on, and better explain what's going on, and talk about things that I think that are being done right and are done wrong. Here we go. So this occurred in 2021, October. It's been about a year since this occurred. And they're just now releasing footage. I can't remember exactly when this one was released, but it was released within this month. So it's about taking a year for this incident to be cleared to be released to the public.
This following critical incident briefing is intended to provide.
All right, we'll skip some of this.
This investigation each day with the Ducks office since typical amount our food consistent and information to a difficult 2021. Viewer discretion is advised. On October 19, 2021, at approximately 3:05 p.m., Temple Sheriff Station received a telephone call regarding a suspicious person at a business in the 2100 block of San Gabriel Boulevard in the city of Rosemead. The caller reported a male had driven a black Mazda sedan into the parking lot of his business and told him he needed work completed quickly on his car because he had a murder warrant and the police were after him. The male was later identified as 25-year-old Adrian Abelar.
Temple Watchman, Lieutenant Moss, being allowed to help you?
Commander, how are you? Listen, I always help you guys. You always help me when I get broken into. I got a customer pulled into my shop. He's inked up from head to toe. He tells me I need brakes done in my car right away. I got a murder warrant on me, and I got to get out of here. The cops are chasing me. Came flying into the back of my building.
Is he still there,
So,
sir?
yes, he is. Black Mazda, 2009 or 10. He's about 6'2", probably about 110 pounds. He got a girl in the car with him that I don't think has anything to do with it, but you guys are always good to me, so I don't want him here. Yeah, if you come around the back of either.
Okay. Do me a favor, sir.
Yes,
I'm going to have the call put in, but I want our dispatchers to stay on the line with you.
Absolutely.
So that way you can guide them in, all right? So hold on.
Yeah.
Temple Sheriff Station, Deputy Van Dyne, how can I help you?
That's Ma.
Hey, sir.
Hey, I'm going to transfer over a guy to you. Can you put in like a 925-415 business call?
Sure.
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 The guy says he has some dude with a warrant at his note.
Okay.
Okay.
Commander.
Hello, Temple Sheriff Station.
How are you? I was just talking to the watch commander.
Yes, and I'm gonna, he wants me to type in a call for you for a call for service, sir.
Okay, my address is San Gabriel Boulevard in Rosemead.
Okay, what's your cross street, sir?
Keim, K-E-I-M. Now, if you come in from my back gates are open, this kid just pulled in. He's telling me I need brakes done right away. I got a murder warrant on me. He's really serious.
Okay, what's your name, sir?
My name is.
All right. So he calls police, and it's basically an hour before anybody shows up. So he calls, and about 50 minutes later, he calls a second time. So I don't know exactly what time officers arrived on scene, but it's probably most likely well over an hour by the time they get there.
Temple Station, Deputy Van Dyne, are you having an emergency?
Well, yeah, I guess you could say that.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
What's your emergency, sir?
All right. I got a body shop. I got a guy on my property who's telling me fix his car right away because he's up for attempted murder and the cops are chasing him all over the neighborhood. And he just pulled into the back of my shop a half hour ago with these wheel bearings, and I just want him out of here because I just had a. And so if you guys could just roll by, he's in a 2009 black Mazda 4-door. He's about 6'2", about 110 pounds, very, very light skin with a white tank top. His girlfriend's in the car, and get them off my property, please.
Okay, and where is he at on your property?
In the back of my property with a black Mazda 6, 2009.
Okay, sir. I had already dispatched a call from the last time we spoke. So
Well, you know what?
update
It's been
it.
a long time, sweetheart. Nobody there.
Okay, sir.
How long are you going to be?
I can't give you an ETA, sir. I don't have an ETA for a
You know what?
deputy.
I got to be honest with you, honey, and I'm going to be really as nice as I can because I'm sometimes, but the guy's up for why don't you get a car over here and do your job?
Okay, so you have a great day, okay?
You two, do your job like...
The deputies arrived on scene and
So, yeah, he's frustrated, and there's a lot of people all across the nation who are just as frustrated as him when they call the police, and it takes them forever to show up. So, ever since this bullshit war on police got started, the issues have just been snowballing. With the whole movement for defund police and this whole stand up to police and resist them and question them at every turn and all the bullshit. This has caused staffing issues at agencies all across the nation. So the people who are eligible for retirement, they are saying, fuck this shit. And they are retiring at the earliest time possible. Now, not all of them, but a lot of them are. Where ordinarily, you would not see that from people. You would see people who, they reach that retirement age, and they stay a little bit longer, right? Well, now, there's a lot of them who are saying, hell with it, it's not worth it to stay. If I get involved in something, I could lose everything, lose the pension and all that. So they're getting out at the most earliest time they can. New York City had this issue when they started the defunding shit and they weren't being backed up. A lot of people, a lot of officers there in New York City, they were reaching retirement age and they were getting the hell out as fast as they could. So you've got that going on. You've got people who haven't been there for a very long time, so they're not really worried about their retirement, and they're just leaving. They're just saying the fuck with it, and they're going into something completely different. Not even law enforcement. They're going into some other sector and just leaving it all behind. There's a lot of good officers out there who have just turned in their equipment and went somewhere else because it's just not worth it to them anymore. That recruiting, so there's not people beating down the door anymore to these agencies trying to get in. It's not appealing to a lot of people anymore, especially after the last few years. All they've seen in the news is just criticize, crucify, vilify the police. It's just constant fucking bombardment of, fuck the police and all this bullshit against police. And who the fuck wants to go into a profession that every time you turn on the damn TV, it's like people are fucking hating on them? That and they see the same stuff that everyone else is seeing. They're seeing that police are being attacked more. It wasn't too long ago, maybe within the last few days, I read something talking about there's like a 40-something% increase in violent attacks against police. They're being shot at more, they're being attacked more, whereas, you go a decade ago, it was not like this. But now people feel emboldened. They feel empowered to stand up to the police. They feel like they can attack the police and do all this shit. And it's cool. It's the woke thing to do. So there's just not a lot of people who are interested in joining it. And it's not just that, seeing all that shit. It's also what they pay. They see the pay and they see all that stuff going on. They're like, this job ain't fucking worth it. You don't pay me enough to be fucking stand there at a line and have people come up, get inches away from my face and yell in my face at me and then fight me. Like, fuck that. I ain't enough money for that. So there's just not a whole lot of people applying. And all this, well, let me go even further. The people who are staying, not everyone who stays in the job is operating 110%. There's a lot of officers who have toned it down. They are no longer very proactive. Officers who've been on the job for quite some time, a decade ago, they would have been the very proactive person, right? Like, you take someone 10 years ago, they're very, very proactive, always getting in the shit. Now, there's a lot of those same guys who are not very proactive because they see that all their work goes to shit when they make these good arrests, and then the fucking judges let everyone go, give them, reduced sentences, all this bullshit. And if something happens and the suspect gets hurt, are they going to be backed up there by their administration? Are they going to be vilified in the news? Are they going to be crucified? So you've got a lot of officers who just are not proactive anymore. They don't go and get into people's shit like they used to because they're afraid of what will happen if something happens. There's officers who purposely drive slow to a call in hopes that when they get there, the bad guy's gone. Because they don't want to fucking deal with it. Now, some of that's either because they're worried that if they do get involved with someone and there's a use of force that's going to be hard on them, or they're just a lazy person. Because even before this, all this war on police shit, there were still people like that. They just they went as slow as they could. They didn't want to do anything, and they got there so late that the bad guy was gone, and they could call in the dispatch and say "gone on arrival" and go back to fucking off. So there's a baseline of fuck offs, right? There's always going to be a fuck off somewhere who's not wanting to do anything. So you've got that right there, and then you've got people who were proactive, who were wanting to get in this shit, who are now a little timid about it because they're like, well, some of these use of force incidents that I got into in the past, if these happened today, well, I'd probably be out of a job. So there's a lot of cops afraid to do their jobs because of a bunch of bullshit fucking wokeism. And this war on police started by Obama. Alright, let's get into it.
Contacted the informant. The informant reiterated Abelar claimed he had a murder warrant, and the informant did not feel comfortable with Abelar. The deputies approached the black Mazda, which was occupied by Abelar and a female passenger. Abelar did not have identification and provided false information regarding the spelling of his name and his date of birth to the deputies. After speaking to Abelar for approximately 5 minutes, the deputies decided to direct him to step out of the vehicle in order to identify him and determine if he in fact had a warrant for his arrest. One of the deputies opened the driver's side door of the Mazda and asked Abelar to step out. Abelar suddenly exited the car armed with a handgun in his right hand. The deputy yelled, "Gun, gun, gun," and a short physical struggle ensued. Both the deputy and Abelar fell to the ground next to the driver's side door, and a deputy-involved shooting occurred.
Good, how are you? What's up, guys? How you doing? Good.
Oh, that's over there. That's our room.
So, I'm assuming that the car shop people basically lied and said, "Oh, we got to get this part. It'll be a minute." Because brakes don't normally take that long. I mean, I'm not a mechanic person. I don't really like working on cars and shit, but done brakes before. It doesn't take that long to do brakes. So I think the shop owner had his people purposely, delay getting everything done, which was a good thing. That's great. It's good when members of the community want to see bad guys off the streets. It's good when community members work with the police. So I like that. And if it weren't for that, this dude probably would have started his car and took off. And it would have turned into some type of pursuit. So it looks like, I don't know where this gate goes. This could go to the outside onto the street. All he would have had to have done was throw that car and drive and go out this gate right there. And who knows, how this would have ended at that point.
Over there, where?
That's inside.
Okay. Anybody got IDs?
No, well, he has mine inside.
Okay, let me give it.
What's your name, man?
Part of your ID.
Adrian?
Adrian?
Yeah.
Adrian what?
Abelar.
Abelar?
Yeah.
With a B?
With the A-V as in boy.
Oh, Abelar with a V. Okay.
E-L-A-R.
Cool. What's your date of birth? Cool. Alright. You working on your car today?
Yeah.
Okay. You or somebody, they're working on your car?
Yeah, they are.
They are? Okay.
They're inside.
Okay.
Brown parole probation.
No.
You got your ID, miss?
No.
Okay. What's your name? How do you spell your first name, man? No. You right here.
Adrian?
Adrian, like
A-D?
R-I-A-N?
Yeah.
Okay. SCC 1038 with 1 at San Gabriel and Kine, City of Rosemead.
There is one from San Gabriel Pine, City of Rosemead. Identify it and go ahead.
Temple 54, ma'am. 1038 with 1. Last name Abelar. Adam, Victor, Edward, Lincoln, Adam, Robert. First name Adrian, Adam, David, Robert, Ida, Adam, Nora. Date of birth. Temple 54.
I'm sorry, you broke in the beginning. Confirm you don't have a DL, and it's Adrian Abelar.
That's affirmative, ma'am. Temple 54.
I'm checking on your subject.
Correction to the birth date. It's going to be.
What's up?
Keep your hands where I can see them.
Oh. Can I put my windows up?
No.
So notice his eyes right here. He's looking for avenues of escape. A person's eyes can tell you a lot about what they're thinking. He's also looking at the officer's gun. It appears like to me, based off officer's body camera being mid-chest, his belt line probably being right there at the bottom of the window frame. I think this guy was, one, looking for his avenues of escape, seeing what the surroundings were like, if he could make a run for it, and he's looking at this officer's gun. These are telltale signs that this guy is ready for the fight.
Is that the guy who was working on your car?
Yeah.
Did he have a scheduled appointment to come in today, or
I came over here and he let us come over here.
which guy?
The tall white dude.
Tall white dude?
Yeah.
There's two tall white dudes in there. The skinny one or the heavy set one?
The heavy set one.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't have no warrants. My name's Adrian
Or there's
Abelar.
no deal matching that name in DOB. However, that first DOB that you there is an Adrian Abelar. The last name is spelled Adam Boy Edward Lincoln Adam Robert. Shows an address out of Whittier. Is that your subject?
Where do you stay at, man?
Huh?
Where do you stay at?
I stay in Montebello.
Bella? You don't have any ID on you?
No.
Simple 5-4 copies. Can you write it to my box, man?
The guy has it though.
Okay. He has his ID. You have to have his ID in there. All right.
Can I get my sweater?
Not right now, man.
I don't even know mine by heart.
I do. Let's step out of the car. Gun! Got a gun! Wait, dude! 1033 998 554.
Set up.
I do. Let's step out of the car. Gun! Got a gun!
So that happens very quickly. He starts to try and make a run for it and go for his gun. And the body camera falls off. So it's most likely this body camera was on by a magnetic mount. Magnetic mounts suck ass. I do not recommend them at all. I think they're the most useless fucking piece of shit there is. Anytime anyone has a body camera on a magnetic mount and there's any kind of scuffle, that camera goes flying off. It is not meant for duty use, in my opinion. If you have to modify the uniform shirt and have an extra hole in it, then by all means, fucking do that. It's much better to have the uniform modified or have an extra tab on there and have a different type of mount, whatever, than to use these magnetic mounts. They're just complete garbage.
1033 998 554. Put you on the way.
I totally.
And I'm sorry, you broke in the beginning. Confirm you don't have a DL, and it's Adrian Abelar. Checking on your subject.
Give me a hand where I can see him.
There is an Adrian Abelar, the Robert, shows an address out of Whittier. Is that your subject?
I do.
They said you have his ID? Do you have his ID? Okay, so no ID. Alright. He says he never had an ID. He never gave an ID.
I don't even know mine by heart.
So we're going to pay attention to the right screen. Right screen. Pay attention to this one. Ignore what's going on the left. So this officer has his gun out. This other support officer has her gun out. This guy has gotten the suspect down on the ground. He does not appear to have his gun out yet. Looks like he draws it, and he goes to put the gun in the guy's back, and it looks like he is the one who ends up firing. That's what it looks like to me. Trigger, finger inside the trigger. So it looks like to me that there's a, and there's this fucking body camera laying on the ground. It looks like to me is this was potentially a negligent discharge. I don't really necessarily think that he fully intentionally meant in that exact moment to shoot the guy. I think he was prepared to. Obviously, he's pulling his gun out. But I just don't think he was probably 100% in the mindset of, I'm going to shoot right now. He was probably wanting to pull his gun, put it to the guy, get lethal cover, because the guy does have a gun. But because he kept his finger on the trigger, he had a negligent discharge.
Hey, get on the ground!
Abelar sustained a single gunshot wound to the upper body and was taken into custody. Deputies immediately rendered first aid until the arrival of the Los Angeles County Fire Department paramedics, who continued to provide medical aid. Abelar was transported by ambulance to a local hospital where he was treated for his non-life-threatening injury. A loaded Ruger 9mm semi-automatic handgun was recovered at the scene. Abelar had previous 9mm
Yeah, so he's got the gun. It's loaded.
Semi-automatic handgun was recovered at the scene. Abelar had previous convictions for cruelty to a child, domestic violence, criminal threats, vehicle theft, prohibited person in possession of a firearm, and providing false information to a peace officer. Subsequent to this incident, it was determined that Abelar did not have a warrant for murder. However, he did have a $145,000 warrant for a felony probation violation. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department has begun a thorough and in-depth investigation. Homicide investigators will continue to investigate this incident, which may include completing
So based off this freeze frame, you may be thinking, all right, so this dude's got this hand and arm all the way over here. This dude's got this hand and arm all the way over this way. Why did he shoot? Like I said, I think this was potentially a negligent discharge, but I can't say that for sure because all we see is what's here on the video. There's no supporting documentation that gets released with this video. If he did intentionally shoot, then I would say that it's possible that At the very beginning, he had normal vision. And as soon as he saw the gun, fight or flight kicked in and he started to experience tunnel vision. And I think that it's possible that under tunnel vision, he may not have fully recognized exactly where this guy's hands were at. And he was more focused on getting his gun out and presenting it to the threat and then firing. If he was intentionally wanting to shoot this guy on the ground where he was, which I don't think he did. It was. I think this was just a negligent discharge on his behalf. Now, if he was making the conscious decision to want to shoot this guy where he's at, then I have no problem with that. This dude has already pulled a gun on them. That's signifying that you're wanting to fight it out to the death. If you pull a gun, that's the same as you putting your fist up to someone. This ain't fucking show and tell. You ain't pulling that gun out to be like, hey man, look at this cool gun I got. You want to buy it? No. You pull a gun, that means you want to fight. Winning a fight, do what you do to win a fight. If that means popping someone in the back, that means popping them in the back. I have no problems with that whatsoever. Some people have like this bullshit, old Western mentality that, it's wrong to shoot a man in the back. No, it's not. It's not wrong to shoot somebody in the back at all. If that's what the threat presents, then that's what the threat presents, and that's what you shoot. You shoot to stop the threat. So many people base their beliefs and their knowledge off of fucking movies. Hollywood does such a disservice to this country, making things out to be so unrealistic. People actually believe if you shoot a car with a gun, it's going to blow up. People believe that car doors stop bullets. I mean, all this nonsense. You can shoot a person in the leg to stop them. Like, stupid bullshit. And people see that and they believe it and they think that can be done. And the same thing with, like, philosophical kind of stuff, too. They see something on TV or a movie and it's one of their favorite actors and they believe in the bullshit. They'll carry that on. They will. So many people have this, like I said, this misbelief that it is just taboo. It is inherently wrong to shoot anybody in the back, and that's just not the case. It is perfectly fine to do that. And I always like to bring up the scenario of an active shooter at a school. If you are at a school and there's an active shooter, and you come around the corner and an active shooter has their back to you and they're shooting at people, are you going to wait for them to turn around to face you before you shoot? Or will you shoot them in the back? Now, when I present it like that, I assume that people would recognize that, yeah, that would be a perfectly acceptable thing to do. But I'm also being, I guess, too kind and thinking that, some people possess some level of reasonable thinking, logical thinking, but at the end of the day, there's just some people who do not possess that at all, and they really do think that it would be best that you wait until that active shooter turns and faces you before doing work. I don't know. Some people are just more fucked up than a football bat. So negligent discharge. This is what I think has happened, and your trigger is not a resting place for your finger. Anytime your gun comes out of the holster, you need to be indexing, and only time it goes on the trigger is when you have made that conscious decision to shoot. The amount of, I wish there was more detailed data out there. The amount of negligent discharges that occur, I don't know. I wouldn't even begin to know how to find that number out. But from hunting, what they call hunting accidents, stuff like that, kids shooting other kids in the home, those are incidents of negligent discharges. They're called accidents or accidental discharge. I don't like the term accidental discharge. It's negligence. And they can all mostly 90-something% be avoided by keeping your fucking finger off the fucking trigger. Now, there are some guns out there that are not drop safe. There are some guns out there that are just so old and inferior design that they are an accident waiting to happen. There was I forget what the rifle's name was. It's an older rifle. You engage the safety, and it would make the fucking gun fire. But even then, so you've kept your finger off the trigger, you've engaged the safety, and it fired. If it hits someone, then you are still breaking a rule. You are pointing it at something that you did not intend to destroy. So there's more than just keeping your finger off the trigger. You also have to have the gun pointed in a safe direction. Now, in this context, obviously, he's not doing any type of administrative handling. He is wanting to provide lethal cover on a lethal threat. So, yeah, obviously his gun's going to be pointed at the bad guy who he intends to shoot if he becomes a lethal threat. So, yeah, he's got his gun, in this context, pointed in the right direction. He's got it pointed at the bad guy. However, I think he broke the cardinal rule of keeping his finger off the trigger and causing negligent discharge. So a lot of these gun accidents can be avoided if you just follow the basic rules. The basic rules that Boy Scouts learn, who go to BB gun shooting competitions. Keep your finger off the trigger until you've made that conscious decision to shoot. And don't point your gun at shit unless you absolutely intend to destroy that shit. Know your target and what is behind it. And treat every gun as if it's loaded. You follow those cardinal rules, you will not see a negligent discharge. You will not see someone who did not need to be shot getting shot. It's the breaking of the basic cardinal rules that end up getting people shot when they don't need to be shot. I don't know. Alright, so that's it. If you like what you hear and see, go ahead and give me a like and a share. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more Monday quarterback videos. Earl Henderson, Primordial Defense. Thank you for watching.